Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this brief commentary on the discussion thread for Module 2, where we talk a little bit about LinkedIn. And so I have some notes here. Instead of just commenting on the thread, by writing, I thought, what the heck, I'll just do a little video here and kind of point to some recurring, concepts and themes, and to address a lot of your work directly by name. So it's I don't know. I'd rather be sitting in a room with you, but this is the next best thing, I suppose. And I'll try to make it short. So LinkedIn, right? There is no one social media platform, right? We are in this really interesting time where these things pop up, they go away, maybe they pop up again. Some are better for different kinds of purposes than others. And so, obviously Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, those are some of the names that have popped up in this thread. LinkedIn is, like you all know, devoted to the professional world. So a lot of what is popping up in your comments are the importance of summary and image, and I'll talk about those in a second. As far as what we use it for, the LinkedIn demographic is older, right? Not you guys. In theory, the majority of LinkedIn, I don't have the stats, but the majority are, I'd say, before the baby boomers, but after the Gen Xers, right? So I'm a Gen Xer, I'm in my 40s. Based on just my own personal, experience with LinkedIn, I see a lot of middle-aged folks on it, but I do see a lot of younger folks like you on it as well. The reason why I would suggest you do tap into it, even though it's an older demographic, is most of the people in your fields are going to be older, and if they're on it and they're hiring, then you want to be connected with those folks. And that's not to say that there aren't younger people on it. Like I said, there are, but what I've read seems to suggest that the demographic is definitely kind of humped around, say, like the 30 plus somethings. So that's just something to think about. It's good to be connected to the old people, right? So that's the moral of that lesson. What do I use it for? I was really thinking through that, like, what do I use it for? I'm not looking for employment, so I don't do that. Although for me, as an entrepreneur, since I'm starting an education technology business, it becomes a way of tapping into resources. And so on the one hand, if you're marketing something, your own business idea, yourself, right, it's good to put yourself out there. I say yes to any connections that come in. It's not like Facebook, right? So I want to be connected because if I choose to write a blog post, I can shoot it out to a couple thousand people, and that will show up on their feed. So on the one hand, it can be used like a marketing tool to get information out there to the market about you and your projects, and it also can just be simply like I think one of you said a resume on steroids, right? A good place to platform what you're doing, and so those two I think are really valid. The third one, is I subscribe to various feeds, and so like there's this thing called Pulse. Pulse is an app that connects to your LinkedIn profile. Excuse me, and what it does is it will aggregate all of the various articles and blog posts and links and everything that your folks, your connections are doing. It kind of aggregates them and shoots them at you, and I find that to be really helpful for me. You can subscribe to specific people, and like all social media, you have a feed that goes through all the stuff as well, showing what everybody's doing. And so I actually like it better than Facebook. I'm not a big Facebook person myself. For me, it gets a little too whiny and personal, and I like that LinkedIn stays kind of productive in business. And most people know not to post personal items that would bog down everyone's feed. So I think for me, it's been really a neat, out of all the social media, I like LinkedIn the best. I like Twitter too, as well, but LinkedIn has more, functionality to it. So let me go through about a half dozen of your comments here by name. Sorry if this is going to be a little bit fragmented, but I'm just going to kind of go down as I took notes. Okay, so Eliza posted first about building an image, a professional image, including a profile pic, which Tara Marie also kind of echoed. Like it or not, right? We're in this age of the photograph, and I'm not a model, right? But we have to become comfortable. This is so bizarre in front of the camera. So I do a lot of this kind of work when I'm online. I had to get a picture. Luckily, my wife's a photographer, so I made her try to take a picture of me where I looked, halfway decent. And so our lives have become in some ways a building up of image, and of course there's a fabrication to that. And of course we can be grumpy about it. I know I am, but when a lot of business is done this way, it becomes just one of those things you have to deal with or abstract yourself out of it, abscond, right? Go somewhere, onto some island somewhere, I suppose. So once we get past that, then it just becomes a matter of, okay, I got to have a profile pic. All right, well, how can I make sure I take one that, that looks professional, looks good, and summary the same way. The written word turns out to be, in a way, like an image, okay? So one of the themes of this course is learning how to present yourself in writing the best way you can, much like a photograph, right? We have to choose a photograph that looks good. We have to choose the words we use on a resume that look good. We have to write well in very tight circumstances to maintain goodwill, to maintain business relationships, to avoid making people mad, et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of what we do in business writing and doing business has to do with maintaining a professional image. So yeah, we can grumble about it and not want to put up a picture, but if that's going to give you that little bit of an edge, at least seeing a face of a live person, then you definitely want to do that. I did require it for this assignment, but of course you could always take it down if you want after the class is over. But I would really encourage people to keep those pictures up because, like I said, it's kind of part of it. Part of the marketing part of all of this. Speaking of language, James Hart mentioned, being precise, being efficient. Another kind of theme of this course is using the right language. Don't be verbose. Don't use too much of it. Be direct, but don't oversimplify either. Right? So you're kind of dancing this line between those. There's not a lot of room in business correspondence to get wordy. That's just the way it's done, right? That's why it's not philosophy, all right, or critical theory or anything like that. Things are kept kind of simple to kind of transact and correspond and to kind of get things done. And so that's what business writing is about. It's not super fun, it's not, especially if you like words like I do, it's not the most fun way to write, but we all have to kind of do it. Okay. Andrew mentioned pictures, slideshows, videos. That was the advice of a Business Insider article, and I'm going to put that into the category of this is the world we live in, right? It's almost like we all have to have some sort of facility for making movies nowadays. I'm going to have you guys do an audio PowerPoint, right? Something unheard of 10, 15 years ago. to make students do that. But now it's just expected that you know how to do it. I mean, I'll teach you how to do it, but that you will do it, and that's just the way it's done. Same thing with, say, like a video, putting a video of yourself on a LinkedIn profile. There's also room to put, if memory serves, documents of various kinds too. So my guess is that, at least I know in online education, things are moving toward video. Things are moving toward multimedia, even in the on-ground classroom, that you'll see in LinkedIn a similar move to multimedia. And so the sooner you kind of get on that, that train, the better you look. Okay, Rebecca mentioned action words, and I wanted to kind of tie that into what James was saying about language. Action, don't use the passive, right? Use the active voice. Action words are more direct. When you're using the active voice, you're cutting out a lot of verbiage. The active voice is shorter and punchier, and that's business writing in a nutshell. Try to avoid the abstract in business writing. Not to say the abstract is bad. It's just not what you do in business writing. Mark Miller mentioned, oh yes, this is one of my favorites, think before you post, right? That's a great piece of advice because we are emotional people, and we can get upset. And so you probably have heard that advice before. If you get mad at somebody, especially with your boss, don't rifle off that email, right, and shoot it at them. Take some time. Maybe write something on a Word document, store it away, think about it, and then come back to it when you've cooled down a little bit, and either toss it in the trash or see what it looks like after the emotional haze has subsided. And that's a lot of what the bad newsletter is about. It's to encourage a professional way of saying no to somebody while maintaining a sense of goodwill. Not to say that that's always possible, but at least you can present it in a professional way, and in a way that's expected as well. See, Zach mentioned modeling your profile after others, and that's why I posted my profile. My caveat to that too is, once you're ensconced in your industry, and Zach mentioned this as well, you want to look at, folks in your industry, what do their profiles look like, right? English professor is going to look disheveled half the time anyway. And so, maybe once you get into your specific industry, you're going to kind of know what do people expect you to look like, because image is a subjective thing, right? If you're a creative type and you end up, as an artist or a graphic designer, someone might not expect you to be in a coat and tie. If you're in the banking industry, that might be, a lot different. So definitely use other people's profiles to see like what they're up to and how they're presenting themselves, etc. I also wanted to tag on, Zach mentioned something about a profile pic in a mall based on this article, and that just made me chuckle because I thought, well, I don't like going to malls anyway, but if I did, I definitely wouldn't go get my picture taken there. So I don't know, in front of like the iPhone store maybe, I'm not sure, or maybe in the food court anyway. So that's all I have for now. Thanks a lot, and I will see you guys in class.